Hello and welcome. I'm Rahul. You're watching me on my YouTube channel Alpha Talk Show. And if you're watching me consistently, welcome back to my channel. I always come up with new ideas and try to inform you of latest development, whatever is happening in the real world. Because I strongly feel that if you keep yourself updated and motivated, you can achieve anything in your life. But it is also important that when you are arising, when you are moving ahead, with lots of wisdom and real knowledge in terms of synchronicity, in terms of discernment, in terms of intuitive communication, all these things, when you are awakened, when you have deep insight and analytical ability to analyze everything, in life, and then have a resolution in your life, what do you want to pursue and how do you want to navigate all the challenges that come with awareness, challenges that comes with awareness. That is what am I trading. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm talking about second level talks, which very rarely few people understand, because other people, who are aware, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And it is important to move ourselves forward. Sometimes, the invisible war that happens all the time in our life, we wage that kind of war against each other. It happens because darkness and light always interact with each other, and until unless something culminates, something important outcomes happens, it continues, and that is why I want to tell you that it is more important to look upon your strength, not to lose the track, not to lose your ability, because it is essential that you cultivate something positive in you. And if you want to keep that momentum for your own self, if you want to be ahead in this personal war, I will tell you personal war, which is always active 24 into 7, and you perceive only whatever happens around you, the fabrication all the times, even in movies and all these realities of life, which governs the extraordinary people's life, not only ordinary people's life, but which governs extraordinary people's life. And that is the real story. When you will be awakened, you will understand, you will perceive with your intuitive mind what is going on, and that is why these forces, wants to stop you or always create hazards in your way, that you could not perceive the reality, what is going on behind the curtain. Very few people understand. That is what I want to tell you. It's very, thinkable when someone fabricate to the limit to only tarnish your reputation, maybe not only in your timeline but beyond your timeline. They fabricate from a long time, from the basement to the top, from your genesis to your reincarnation in this life. When you awake, your different self, realities come in front of you, and you take that wisdom in your mind because you have learned from your mistakes. Unless you don't learn, you don't awake, you do not see the challenges around. And once you recognize the challenges, that enemy is not far, it is in the subtle consciousness of all the peoples who are around you, maybe. So that is what you have to identify, because the war that happens on very subtle level, on your emotional vulnerabilities, on your emotional setbacks, that happens. Not only that, your breakthrough that is going to happen, your new assignment that is going to come, all these realities, they try to hinder all the time. Matrix movie is made based on that. Not only that, there are a lot of main characters are hidden. John Wick movie Ballerina has come, you would have seen that. Yeah, it is something which is based on some different concepts, but if you watch that movie, you will understand exactly that how it resonates in ordinary people's life and extraordinary people's life, which is unseen war, which never happens in real, but it happens all the time. That is why you perceive the reality in physical realities. Whatever happens to you, you think of it is a coincidence that you realize within. But when you are awakened, you see the reality, how it unfolds, how the consequences happen in your life, and in the environment around you. and across world as well. So that is why I'm telling you the fabrication is at very deep level, and who are awake, they understand exactly what is going on. I'm not talking about something delusional, but it is the reality. When you will perceive, when you will awake, and when your intuitive mind will work, and when you will see the reality at deeper level, you will know the reality. It cannot be conveyed in words and cannot be talked about, because much more things are being pulled before the curtain, and the players are just behind the scenes, who have the control through a very strong, rope or whatever you see, you know and the dance happens all the time in front of the show, whatever you say, the dramatic life that happens here. But I want to tell you that it is also important that we keep ourselves confident. Self confidence is the key at all the time. I trade that. And if you want to achieve something more in your life, you have to be self confident. Yeah, you have to work on your skills, you have to make your skill better. But along with that, perceiving reality and understanding yourself is the real challenge. When you understand yourself, what is within you, and how the system works, universe works, if you will see at a deeper reality, we have colonized almost every animal on this planet for our benefit. We have rendered them as we wanted, whenever we wanted benefit of their milk or any kind of agriculture activity, we deploy them, in the field. If it happens, we colonize them, and then deploy it. We use that for our benefit. Not only that, even the marine lives, fishes and all these lives, humans eat these resources. It happens because these are nature. Yeah, nature's made this way. If we will perceive that through these realities, so whatever happens in nature, we have presumed that. But I'm telling you a deep reality. When you go above that, you will see that humans have made a system which is called financial system. If you don't have money, you will also be deprived. You will also be colonized. You will also be behind those kind of bars, which will never let you emanate from the life. You will not have the resources even to eat if you don't have money. Somewhere, if you want to earn money, you have to work like slog your ass like someone else, who is in colonized area. So, something happens. You are just someone who is playing a role here, but you are not even free. And when you come to perception, will here, your thought process, thinking, you'll perceive that, not only that, when you get the deep reality, what is freedom when you pursue that? Even at the God levels, the religions have been made, in human society. They control you, they give their own doctrines and dogma. You follow that. If you get rebellion, you don't have someone to fall back. If you want to fall back, you have to go through their defined rules and regulations. And if you want to emanate from that, you want to forge your own path. But when you will forge your own path, there the reality starts. There the real war of white, light and darkness starts there. When you find freedom, when you search, your inquisitive mind works to find the reality. There you see how subtle forces around you, unconsciousness of different personality, different nodal points, all the time it is fabricating and moving ahead like an enemy. But for all these realities, your mind has to be very, very incisive. Otherwise, the dimensions I'm talking about, it will not be under your perceived reality. I'm telling you exactly that even your freedom of time and movement, humans are not even free. That you think of the extent that you want to perceive. That is what I'm telling you. If you have colonized animals, if you have used animals, if you have used all the resources of earth, being a human, you see yourself, at certain standards. You are working tirelessly day and night to earn certain money, to find that freedom, to livelihood. And not only that, when you come to find liberation, God, to transit into different reality where you want to be someone who can live eternal, when you know the reality of gates of eternal wisdom and your legacy, you will see that war there is very subtle and very, very intrinsic. It is weaved into certain kind of cultural and cult reality that you won't even perceive how much deeper the falls. I'm not asking you to go delusional. You may go, because the dimensional realities are made in such a way that will test you. Even the gatekeepers won't open their gates, and you will not be able to perceive that who is the light workers, who are the light workers, and who are the shadows. Has an enemy working there. So these are the reality of life that you have to face. Exactly, I'm telling you that all these fabrication that I'm talking about is not for normal people. It is for those who judge reality with a different lens and who have that capability to be awakened. There your self-confidence is needed. Believe in you that you can walk that path, and your faith will not be unwavered. I'm not talking about to be devoted to some entities. Maybe certain entities would have power to dominate in that way field. You will perceive that, your path will be in such a way that will be made that you clash with that kind of reality. I'm not asking you miracle happens, but what will you become their assigned, what I say, will you accept their conditions and become their slave, or will you certainly perceive that the freedom of your mind could be achievable? That is why you have to forge your own path. Even if you want to be standing as a idol, or if you want to be a protagonist, you have to have certain doctrines and principles. You may have to make a tribe, or you may have to move with certain intelligence, that each and every gates are there, not easy. That is what I want to tell you. But you have to be confident. You can make it normal, look normal, but it is not normal all the time. The Red Sea is Red Sea. It is not a Dead Sea. It is only Dead Sea for those who are in sleep mode, who are in dead mode. That is why I always iterate. Just be keeping. I just want to keep you aware. If you will be aware, you will certainly face the war, and that is what I want to force. Never ever give hope. Never ever, be despondent. You just find happiness. You be jubilant all the time, and you see what is coming your way, and accept the reality. Make yourself better each and every day. Work on your class, work on your skills, and try to find opportunity. If the opportunity doesn't come, forge your path, and you do certain hustles you have to do, certain hassles and hurdles you have to face. You have to navigate all these challenges that are coming your ways, and you will come victorious. Thank you for listening to me.